I want to show you how to use Intellij with JavaFX. So if you have the JDK 11 through 15 installed on your computer, then in order to use JavaFX, you're going to have to do some additional steps in order to configure JavaFX. Now, if you're using 1.8, then everything should work fine. I'm going to go ahead and create a new project. Okay, so I have Java version 15 selected, but if you have 1.8, then Intellij is going to see the JavaFX library because it comes packaged with Java 1.8 and everything will work correctly. You don't have to do any additional steps in order to get this to run correctly. But if you're using 11 through 15, then there's a few things that we have to do. So I'm going to go ahead and select 15 and create a new project. And I'm going to call this project test JavaFX. All right, so there's actually a couple of things you need to do. But before we get started on that, let's just go ahead and create a class that is going to launch our JavaFX application. So I'm going to right click on source and then go to new class, and we'll just call this class launcher. All right, so what we're going to do is this method is going to have our main method. And I just want to do like a quick system output line just to make sure I can compile a normal Java program. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. And I get my expected output. Hello world. Okay, so I actually want to launch a JavaFX application. So I need to inherit from the application class. Now, right off the bat, you can see that Intellij doesn't know anything about the application class. It didn't actually give me any recommendations. It's just telling me to create the application class. So it doesn't actually see JavaFX. Now what we need to do is we need to configure this correctly. So if you're using Java 11 or Java or anything greater than Java 11, then you're actually going to need to download you're going to need to download the JavaFX library. Okay, so what you can do is just go to openjavafx.io, and from here you're going to select download, and then you're going to select the appropriate SDK for the machine that you're working with, whether you're using a Mac or you're using a Windows. I'm using a Windows, so what I'm going to do is click this download button here. It's going to download a zip file. Once I have that zip file, I need to extract it somewhere. Okay, so I extracted mine to my program files, and I made a folder called JavaFX. So that's where I have mine extracted. So you just click that download the zip, and then extract that file somewhere. And then once you have the path of the file, then you can go ahead and come back to Intellij, and you're going to go to your project structure. So we're going to go to File, Project Structure, and we're going to need to add a library. Click on Libraries. I'm going to click this Add button right here, and I'm going to add a Java library. And what I need to do is find the library that I just downloaded for JavaFX. So like I said, I put it under Program Files, and then I put it under JavaFX, and then here's the library extracted, and I want to look for the lib folder. I'm going to select the lib folder. I'm going to hit OK, and you can change the name of this if you want, maybe to something like this is JavaFX 15-lib, and then hit apply and OK. All right, so now that we've come back here, since we added that library, Intellij is kind of thinking a little bit. When I hover over application, you can see that I'll have the option to import class. I click import class and I have two options. I can import the application class, or I can import the application class from com.sun. So make sure you import the JavaFX application class. All right, now it's still a little bit upset at me because whenever you inherit from this application class, you have to implement a method. So I'm going to click this little red light bulb and implement methods. And I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so when the JavaFX application starts, this is the method that's going to get called. So what we need to do is we need to launch the application. Then this method is going to get called, and then we can build our stage from here. We'll make a scene and then build our stage. So a couple of things that we can do is text, and then text 1 is new text, and we can put it like at 100, 100, and just say hello world. Okay, now this is red, so we need to import the proper class. I'm gonna click on import, and I'm gonna select the text from the JavaFX library, not the one from org.w3c. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is create a group, and I'm gonna add my components to a group. And then once I have my group created, I need to create a scene. All right, I need to import this class. And I'm gonna add my group, and then I can specify the size of this scene. So we'll just go with 500, 500. And we'll go with the background color of, we'll just go with white. Okay, we'll make sure we do the JavaFX color. So white. All right. So once I have my scene set up, then I can pass it to my stage. My stage is the variable that's being passed in. So in my stage, I can set the title. And then set the scene. And then I'll just go ahead, I'll go ahead and show the stage. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and run this. All right, and then here is my program. I made it has a background color of white. Here's my text right here, it's hello world. Really simple program. It seems like everything is fine and working. However, if I actually make a component from JavaFX that is in the label or the control package, we're going to run into another problem. All right, I made a label called this is a label, and for some reason my Intellij imported from java.awt. I am not sure why I did that. Delete that and come back over here and go to import class, and I'm going to select the label from JavaFX scene control. I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to take this label and I'm going to add it to my group, and I would expect to see this inside of my GUI when I run it. However, when I run, there is an exception that gets thrown. If you read this exception, it's actually telling us something about it failed on this class here. You can do some research on what this actually is, but if we go to the go to opengfx.io, okay, from here we can go to the documentation, all right, and then go to getting started. Okay, so we're in JavaFX.io, and then we're in the OpenJavaFX-docs, and then we can select JavaFX and Intellij. Actually has a lot of good information about how to set it up. That's where I read this information from. But the problem that we're having is with our virtual machine. If you kind of scroll down, you're gonna have to add VM options. So it gives you what to add for Windows and what to add for Linux. I'm gonna select on Windows since that's what I'm using. I'm just gonna copy this right here. Now the thing that you're gonna have to change, and I'm gonna have to change, is what's inside of these parentheses. That's actually where I have my JavaFX library installed. What I downloaded and extracted, I need to put that path right there. Okay, so I'm gonna select all of this. I'm gonna come back over to my application. I wanna edit my configuration. Now I can access that by just coming up here to the right and clicking on this launcher and clicking on edit configurations. And then under VM options, I'm gonna paste in that command. Now I need to change the path to my JavaFX library. So I'm gonna go and delete what's inside of those these quotes. I'm gonna paste in the path to my library. And the path to my library was in program files. Then I made a folder called JavaFX, and then I just had the extracted files in there with the lib at the end, with that lib file folder right there. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm gonna hit apply and okay, and I'm gonna attempt to rerun this program. Okay, and it worked. Okay, so those are the errors that I've come across when I've been making these GUIs. So if you run into some problems, the best source to go to is the openjfx.io. Click on getting started, and then you can select like what you're using. We're using Intellij for this class. It has all these different options of configuring Intellij. So the two things I needed is to download the JavaFX library for the JDK I'm using, which is 15. And then I needed to set my VM options. So those are probably two things that you have to do for every project that you create. So it's going to get kind of annoying because you have to do this for every project. Now, however, if you're using 1.8 as your JDK, then you don't have to worry about any of this. Just make sure you use 1.8.